It's not something that is obvious to many lawyers to host an event about social, political, intellectual activism.
The whole idea was to bring together stakeholders that usually wouldn't be in a conversation in their usual professional day-to-day life.
We will hear from university leaders, investigative journalists, filmmakers, NGO activists, academics, judges, musicians, poets about their experiences of trying to make a difference.
I wouldn't normally get a chance to experience an event like this or kind of hear people talking from these backgrounds.
To us, it seems almost logical to host an event that asks not so much about what is law, but rather what can law do today to make people's voices heard who have not been heard before.
We often start thinking about migration as though it's an exception. We have words we describe it such as crisis, as though it's happening just at this moment. But it's good to just step back and think about in terms of human history. It is actually not exception. It is the part of human condition.
Migrants, ways, routes, maps, refugees, lines and borders, borders and fences. Borders and fences and humans. Humans who became titles and numbers.
When I first joined the Coast Guard, it was in 2001, after the NATO war in Afghanistan. So for the first time, we saw people from Central Asia.
One of the things that mobilizes me and galvanizes me is the increase in rhetoric and the increase in sort of vitriol around people simply because they are crossing a border.
Many of my colleagues in the summer of 2015, their daily routine is to pick up bodies from the water. It wasn't a surprise anymore. We would go to the morning routine patrol, pick a couple of bodies, perhaps a kid.
Still in mind with my wife and the other baby, the other child. He hold the other child and throw him and ask my wife, now you will jump also. And he returned back into Turkey.
Who is the refugee? They are humans with a name. They are nothing but men, children and women, among them scientists or illiterate, doctors and peasants, plumbers and housewives. They do have a name.
I had the chance to share the panel with a pharmacist from Syria that actually crossed illegally the borders from Turkey to Greece, that we could have been met there. I could have arrested him. This is a unique opportunity to interact with these people without any tension.
I stay in Greece about 4 months. I try to find a smuggler to travel safely with my wife and the child by the plane, but I didn't find.
Do you create your own, carve your own, or draw your own borders within it, or do you sort of come together and listen to people's stories and then start to ask if I believe in the right of this person to be here and I believe in this person's humanity?
All of us, I think it's fair to say, are trying to capture questions of justice and to explore questions of inequality and migration through telling stories about ourselves and about other people.
As a writer and as a traveller, the reason I write and travel is because I want to explore the full range of what it means to be human. These people have gone far beyond anything I've ever seen, and they've got so much to offer, they've got so much wisdom to offer. Hannah Arendt was a refugee. Einstein was a refugee. The people who are warning us about the dangers of totalitarianism, about the dangers of inequality, about the way in which society is constructed and needs to be more humane, often are refugees. The challenge of the migrant crisis, in terms of the lessons of Hannah Arendt, is seeing those people as human. So what she talked about was how identity is a relationship between one person and another. So I can demonize you, but if I do demonize you, there's a loss to me as well. There's something in me that is dehumanized too.
There's lots of talk about action, I think that's really great. What I've heard so far from everyone, like the recurrent themes have been like bottom up, kind of like grassroots action, you know, to overturn the kind of negative political landscape that we're in.
We feel we've built a kind of post-war institutional framework of justice and human rights that's serving us. It's not. I mean, inequalities are growing.
I think activists and scholars need to come together and push each other's work more. I hope that similarly, just as the work of academics and scholars enters the classroom, that the work of activism enters scholarship.
I think we have to fight on all levels, locally, nationally and internationally, because you can only, I think you should start from where you are.
Seeing so many people together who are working towards more justice brings optimism to the world.
Hannah Arendt conceptualized action as a key ingredient of human relationships, focusing on the polis, the public's fear of meaningful and collective human action. We need to build a polis by putting ourselves in someone else's shoes, to think about what we are doing, to feel what they're feeling, and to resist together.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
People here talked about mostly very concrete ways of turning ideas into something practical. I'm really happy about this, yeah. And I'm really grateful to the people that came.
The sort of people that are coming to this summit, and I hope it continues to build on what is started magnificently, are the type of people who they may not have the correct answers, but they're asking the correct questions.
Are we really doing enough as scholars when it comes to understanding our work and how we can actually implement it in the real world?
We have to go out there and put this discussion away from auditorium and university rooms. I use as an example, I have to go to the village of my father when a lot of people there are quite old and they're afraid of this uncertainty, and they feel that they don't have the power to start again. So we have to go there and give them hope first and take the discussion from this warm room to the real world.
Archimedes said, if you give me a lever and a place to stand, and I will shift the world.